My Ghost Story. This story takes place at a county jail that was said to be extremely haunted. The jail was closed down because it was too small and very outdated, and the people said some very bad things happened in this jail. People were beaten, killed, and even committed suicide. They also had hangings as the ultimate sentencing. So, my brother and I made arrangements with the people who run the jail to do an investigation there. It was called the Brock Penitentiary. So, my brother is terrified of ghosts and spirits, but I talked him into going there with me. The penitentiary was local, in the same city as so we didn't have very far to travel. We meet the people at the front office. They make us sign a waiver form and begin telling us how haunted the jail really was. And the look on Rob's face was not good, so I cut the people's conversation short. We finished filling out the papers that released people from the jail in case we got hurt inside. Before we started out on our tour through the jail, the one guy from the jail asked Rob if he was scared to go through in the dark. Rob just gave him a look. The guy started to laugh. He says, "Rob, you know a ghost or spirit can tell if you are afraid, and they will mess with you the whole time you are there." Rob looks at me and says, "If one ghost touches me or does anything to me, I'm gone." So I calmed him down and I told him, "Don't listen to that guy. You'll be fine." The guy starts laughing again and says, "You will see." Then they tell us once inside the bars are closed and locked until the investigation is over. So that means both of you have to come out together. We get out our flashlights and our cameras, and the guy lets us in the main cell block and locks the doors behind us. He tells us, "You boys have fun," and walk back to the office. So now, Rob and I are standing in the main cell block, deciding where to go first. There's a long hallway in front of us with cell blocks on each side. And there's two sets of stairs, one going up to another cell block and one going down to the solitary confinement cell block. So I say to Rob, "Where do you want to go first?" He says, "I can't believe I let you talk me into this." I smiled and said, "We should do the main cell block first and then go upstairs and investigate there and save the solitary confinement till last, because it was super dark and scary down there and I knew I was going to have trouble with getting him to go down there." So we get our flashlights ready and put our GoPro cameras on our head and head off down the main corridor. There were cells on both sides all the way down. So we were walking and talking, and when all of a sudden we hear a cell door smash shut. Rob stops, looks at me and says, "Bro, did you just hear that?" I started to chuckle and said, "Yes, bro. We're going to hear a lot of noises down here." He's now looking around terrified what just made that noise. I say, "Let's go check out. Maybe we can catch a ghost on camera." He says, "Hell no. I ain't going nowhere near, even close to that. I don't want to see any damn ghost." So I say, "Okay, you wait here. I'll go down there and check it out myself." I started down the hall looking for the cell where the door just slammed shut. I am looking in every cell and checking the doors to see if any are open. I start hearing noises coming from the cell a few doors ahead of me, so I creep up to the cell real quiet like to hopefully catch an apparition sitting in the cell. When I got up there, the cell was nothing, so I open the door and I go inside. I say, "Who's down here making this noise, slamming the doors?" I didn't get an answer, so I walk out of the cell and shut the door behind me. I see Rob running down the hall towards me in a panic. I say, stop, bro, what's happened? He gets up to me and he starts to tell me he's seen a black shadow of a person standing at the end. I look at him with a serious look and say, are you serious, bro? He said, yes, I'm not kidding. I think I might have got it on my camera. So now, I want to see the apparition as well. So I say, let's go back and look for it. So we start to head back down the hall, but Rob is slowly walking behind me. He doesn't want to see it again. So I say, come on, bro, let's go. So he catches up, and we are getting close to where he's seen the shadow standing, and says, bro, he was right there. By now, he is gone, of course. So I say, let's go investigate upstairs now. So we start walking up the stairs to get to the second tier. Now the tier goes around in a big circle, with the guard booth right in the middle, so they can see all the way around the block. So we get to the top of the stairs, and I have decided which way we want to go. So I say to Rob, how about you go left and I go right? He looks at me and says, are you nuts? I'm not going anywhere myself. I laughed and said, okay, bro, let's go right, and we'll go around and then go up to the third tier, okay? He agrees, so we start walking up the second tier when we hear someone talking, but we don't know where it's coming from yet. Rob is starting to get a little freaked out already. We are looking around trying to see and hear where the talking is coming from, so we can go down and investigate it. As we are walking, the voices are getting louder and louder. We came to a cell that's halfway open, so I go inside, and Rob isn't having anything to do with that. He wants to wait outside the door. So I sit on the bed and I start asking questions. What's your name? Was this your cell? What did you do to get put in here? Were you killed in this jail? Then out of nowhere, I see two bright red lights appear up in the corner of the cell. It scared the crap out of me. I say, Rob, come check it out. Two red eyes up in the corner. He slowly comes in to look, and just as he steps into the cell, a voice yells out, get out! It scared the hell out of Rob. He ran out of the cell so fast, he dropped his camera and his flashlight. I have to say, it really scared me as well, but I was laughing at him so hard, I couldn't move from my spot. Rob picked up his flashlight and his camera, and we continued down the circled hall. We come to a room that looked like a cafeteria where they ate. So we go inside to look around. Once inside, we start hearing chairs moving around. It once sounds like trays smacking off the table. We are looking around everywhere to see what's making the sounds. Then all of a sudden, we see a shadow run from one side of the room to the other. I say, did you see that? He was like, yes, and I want to get the hell out of here now. I say, wait, bro, let's find out who it is. So we sit at one of the tables and start talking. But this time, we have a recorder sitting on the table to catch any voices that we hear. So I ask, who are you? Why were you sent to this prison? How were you killed? So we sit there for about 20 minutes, hoping to catch anything on our equipment. Though we didn't hear anything, I thought we could have caught something on the tape recorder. So I started to rewind it and play it back, right there. To our amazements, there was a voice on the recorder that said, Rob, I am coming for you. Rob started freaking out and wanted to get out of there right now. So we jump up and leave. continue the investigation. Suddenly, Rob was pushed from behind by something that we couldn't see. Rob started to scream at me to get the hell out of there. We get out into the hall and I stop and try to calm Rob down a bit because now not only is he scared, but he's now mad as well. I say, look bro, we still have a little bit to do, and there's more afraid you are, the more the spirits are going to come at you. So try and calm down a bit. We stand there for a few minutes while Rob collects himself, and we continue down the hall. I was looking around all over with the flashlight, and I noticed a shadow going up the stairs to tier 3. So I say, let's go, bro. I just seen a shadow go upstairs. We run to the stairs going up to the top tier, and walking up the stairs when out of nowhere, I get pushed down like 3 steps by the shadow that was going up the stairs. It disappeared. So lucky I wasn't hurt. I get up and I start going back up to the top. We finally make it up to the top, and across from us stood that same shadow, except this time he wasn't hiding from us, and he did not want us up there. So we looked at each other and decided it was best to skip the top tier and run down them stairs as fast as we could. Now we are back on the main compound, and I tell Rob, we only have one more place to investigate, and that's downstairs in solitary confinement. So we head down the hall towards the basement. We get to the top of the stairs and look down into the basement, and it's pitch black. Now remember, when I said it was going to be hard to get him to go down there, well, he's standing at the top saying, there is no way in hell I'm going down there. After what just happened to me, so I say, look, this is the last place we have to go and investigate. Then we are done, and we can get out of here. Let's face it, I didn't want to go down there alone either. It was dark down there. So he decides to man up and do it with me. And boy, does he ever regret it. So we start down the basement stairs, one step at a time. It's very dark. We finally get to the bottom of the stairs, and we start walking down the hall. It was locked rooms on both sides, all the way down, except for the last 2 cells at the end of the hall. So we get down to the end, where the 2 cells were, and I say, let's each go sit in a cell for about 5 minutes and see what happens. Then we will leave. So Rob agrees, just to get out of this prison. He was done with my investigation. So we go sit inside the cells, and we were sitting there, and it's eerie quiet down there. So a couple minutes go by, and all of a sudden Rob's cell door slams shut with him inside. He starts screaming, get me out of here. So I run out of my cell, and I'm trying my hardest to pull the door open to get him out, but it wouldn't budge. After about 5 minutes of me pulling on the door to open it, finally it opened, and he came out so pale white, scared to death. He wanted to leave now. So we ran down the hall, back up the stairs to the front gate, so the owners could let us out. We get outside, and he tells me that when his door slammed shut, there was a white apparition of a man standing behind him, and he tells him that we should leave and never return to the jail again. Thank you for listening to my story.